working in silos. Now, when we go into an organization, you've probably got lots of examples of this as well. When you go into an organization, certainly it happens to me, I say to the boss, how do I, I use the terms on purpose, how does it work here? And the first thing they show me is an organization chart. They go, this is me, this is sales, this is operations, this is design, and of course it goes on. There's 8 or 9, different functions within the business, and of course that's helpful. So who's head of sales, who's in charge of operations. Let's just write it: sales, operations, design. And what we've seen is that these guys have their own objectives. They even have their own improvement programs. They have their own development programs. Ops have all the manufacturing, if you're into manufacturing, or operational inefficiencies to fix. They usually own this is what happened in Procter & Gamble years ago. Operations owned TPM programs and everybody else watched. And we realized that we needed to integrate things more. And then you've got design over here. But that's not how on a day-to-day basis, that's not how the organization really works, is it? I mean, we all know this. How it really works is that person over there interacts with that person over there. That person over there interacts with them. They go over there, they put that together like this, and they put that together. So on a day-to-day basis, people are interacting and working with each other and breaking down these silos. But when it comes to an organized, significant change program, business improvement, transformational change program, when it doesn't really start by if you go back to what I was saying before, conceptually, how can I join all the business up to all work and join and support each individual bit? So we think working in silos can cause issues. It can also cause misunderstandings around matrix and how matrix operations work. So it can be quite an issue. And again, I've broken these silos down into 3 points. So the first one, this is a very strong systems thinking point, and that is operations drive improvements, HR, learning and development drive capability and skills. And although some organizations have moved away from that, it's still the predominant thing that you see. So if you go into a business, you'll find HR or learning and development will have a quite sophisticated, quite effective to a point, leadership and development program, and operations will have, like I said before, they will have their inefficiency improvement type programs. But actually, the way to make things sustainable, to make them stick and continue to improve, is to intrinsically join the 2 things together. So again, I haven't drawn for about 30 seconds, so I'll start to get the shakes. So if I draw, I like Venn diagrams. So if I draw activities up here, or tasks, inside this box is a series of tasks associated with the improvement that we're talking about. So I'll draw a line to divide the next bit of the drawing. But before I do, let's just say this is task thinking, right? So linked in, again, everything's joined up, don't forget, linked in with the thinking. If we only think about doing things, we end up doing a lot of activities or tasks. Underneath that line, going back to systems thinking a bit, this is process thinking. Process is a system, isn't it? That's all. So if we draw 2 blobs, I like Venn diagrams, don't forget. One of them is the infrastructure. So if you go back to what I said at the beginning of this webinar, Deming, and consequently lots of other people, know that there's hard systems and there's soft systems. And I said at some point in this webinar, I would attempt to join the two things together. This is it. So one thing that feeds into the activities is having the right infrastructure. And what I mean is the tools and techniques. So if you take a lean program, if you take a Six Sigma program, they've all got high quality, very professional tools, techniques, and various different approaches. And that's the hard side. To make those work, you need the softer side as well. So if you look at the systems that you need as part of a program to make these activities work, you need to have a look at the capability of individuals, teams, and the organization. And being a Covey trained person, I go to is principles, and that's knowledge, skill, and attitude. So you need to know stuff, you need the ability to put that knowledge into practice, and you need to do it in a proper, safe, caring, humane way. So knowledge, skill, and attitude is part of capability. And that is an input into the activities of an improvement program. And the smart thing, you know, a lot of you may be doing it, the smart thing is joining the two up. So people are learning knowledge, skill, and attitude whilst they're putting in a particular set of tools or part of the methodology. So that's an important, looks like a Banksy, I know that, but that's an important model within the New Leaf stable as well, because we're constantly saying, where are we? Where is that? Is client X got that bit in the middle? Are they doing that there, or is it separate? And it goes back to the silo argument, is that training can be done separately, done very well. You know, let's go to the Lake District. Let's learn about team building. Let's build a raft. Let's have a nice week. And they do, and they learn things, but they come back to work and there's nothing to put that learning into practice unless it's not done effectively. If you join it up, the actual practical implementation of the new capability is putting in the infrastructure of a program. Okay, good. So leadership and management not connected directly at delivering the same results. So the next thing I'm going to draw is something a bit complicated, but it addresses those next two ones. So rewards and connected to the same business results. So this is another webinar in its own right, really, but let me just give you an illustration. So we encourage, as part of the ripples in our clients, that once we've helped them and they've helped themselves implement significant change, the organization needs to be able to redesign the way that it deploys objectives. Now, the thing about this is everybody knows the words. So as soon as everybody knows the words, a lot of people go, we've got that. But the value of this is keeping it simple, not overcomplicating it. One of the negatives is that we would very easily overcomplicate it. So this is the top level team in an organization. They need to have objectives. They need to have goals. They need to have strategies, and they need to have measures. And at that level, this is probably a 5-year plan. Now, because it's maybe 3 years, a 5 or 3 year plan, people want to throw the kitchen sink at it. But the skill of being able to minimize it, keep it simple, is the beauty of then joining up an organization of, you know, many thousands of people. So objectives, 1, 2, 3, 4 big top line objectives, nothing more than 5, probably nothing less than 3. I've worked with top teams, and the first thing I want to do is put everything in there to control every team in 5 different locations. But the beauty of it is to keep it simple. So an objective is, what have we got to deliver for the business? So they're big, broad things, you know, profit, cost reduction, efficiency improvements. safety, whatever it might be. And against those four key big numbers that the business can track against it. And then again, simple, 1, 2, maybe 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 strategies on how those objectives are going to be fixed. Okay, so these are the hows. So they're clearly, what have we got to do and how as a business are we going to do it? And that's, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. I'm making that up. Okay, so here are measures against each of those strategies. So they are trackers. They're not a breakdown of the goals. So each strategy is divided into equal measures of obtaining the goal. Okay, so what you've got is numbers, words, words. And that's the top level of the organization. That's the head of sales. I'm just using my somewhat simplistic example. Head of sales, head of operations, head of design, and all the others. They're putting that together. Then they go, I'm not going to go more than 2 levels, don't worry. They go and develop their own OGSM. I won't write on all of it. And because they've been a part of that first, so there they are, whoops. So there they are. They're developing the top level. They're going down into their business and leading the same process, but the strategies and the measures, words and numbers, are taken down to be their objectives and goals, objectives and goals, objectives and goals. And that person takes his management team or her management team and they devise the unique customized hows for, what did I say that was? Sales, operations, design. And although people say, oh, we do it. Yeah, some people do it, but they change it, they adjust it, and it loses some of its simplicity. Because what you've got here, just to change color again, what you've got here is you've got exactly the same objectives in sales as you've got in operations, as you've got in design, and you're meant to take all of them and see what you can do as your part of the business to work on all of them. And it's sort of joining the business up because they're working on exactly the same things, but they've got influence on what they can influence. So their strategies are much more associated with what they know they can do. So immediately you've got a process that is joining up people and they're not living with. So often the strategies implement lean. I see some of you lean process consultants, various different things. Implement lean can be a strategy amongst all of them, or if it's so important, it's a top level company strategy, then it goes down into the business and automatically gets a plan for implementing based on the work that lower level is. Of course, you can go down again and down again, depending on the size of the organization. And we go to businesses, politely say, how do you cascade your objectives? How do you join your management team up? And they go and they show plans and they show top level plans, because this, you know, you break this here down to about a year. This isn't 3 years. And the complex plans, it's like rolling out a piece of wallpaper, because they're trying to address things down at this level of the business. And it goes back to this. The objective setting, the way you think about it, the objective setting activity is up here. You don't set those things for a change program. You don't work the fine detail, because if you imagine that going down to another level inside sales, another level inside operations, it's going to get addressed at their local strategies. So it's having the confidence that you're setting that up for the rest of the organization. Okay, so that's a webinar in itself.